I sat down to make a video today where I looked at all the new Daggerheart updates that have come out recently, and by that I mean all the stuff on The Void and Daggerheart.com, like the new classes, the new ancestries and communities, these new transformation cards. In fact, I was going to spend the bulk of my time talking about these transformation cards because they're awesome, but lo and behold, Downton Press just released a bunch of new news at GenCon, like a ton, and I'm going to have a little counter that goes up with every new piece of news that I talk about. So let's start with the biggest stuff and make our way down to the smallest stuff. The biggest one for me is just how well Daggerheart is selling. Now, don't get me wrong, we knew it was selling well, but just how well I wasn't quite prepared for.
The problem is that we can't keep Daggerheart in stock anywhere. You all have sold it out internationally, I think about twice.
Sold it out internationally twice. This is really good news for two reasons. I mean, it's bad news if you want to get it and can't, but good reason one, the more successful Daggerheart is, the more of it we're gonna get, and we want more of it. And two, people not playing D&D as much and branching into other game systems like this mean they're more likely to branch into other game systems, which is just really good for the entire TTRPG industry on the whole. Now, I've only been around this space for a handful of years at this point, so in the grand scheme of things, I'm still a newbie to the TTRPG space, but over the past half a decade, this stuff is unprecedented. Maybe back when Pathfinder first found popularity, it was similar back then, but for me, it's been D&D monopolizing the whole space. And now, no one's talking about D&D. Now, not only is the game selling really well, but on Demiplane, people have made 500,000 characters. That's a ton, even if people are making 2 or 3 characters. In my mind, the majority of people playing Daggerheart are not using Demiplane, they're using pen and paper and cards. So this number has kind of surprised me in a good way. But I think the biggest news is that they're releasing campaign frames, setting books, source books, and they've got some big names on board. People who are well loved in the industry and known for making good stuff. Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford being the most notable people. They've come out and said that they are working on a campaign frame and potentially an adventure with it that is going to be iconic. And they reference Curse of Strahd when they talk about it, because Curse of Strahd was iconic for D&D. So many people have played through Curse of Strahd and all have their own stories to tell, and they share it with each other and they talk about it, and some people go back and replay Curse of Strahd. Strahd is a household name, so they're going to try and make their own version of it. Not version of Strahd, but their own equivalent. Now, we don't know what this is going to look like, but I do think it's a phenomenal idea. We're also getting a source book and other campaign frames, like there's a steamy, romanticy campaign frame. But the real news here for me is that Daggerheart's not just a one and done. I think some people thought it might be, like they made Candela Obscura, then they just left it, kind of. Then they made Daggerheart, it's a success, they're probably just going to leave it, and then they're going to make, I don't know, Laser Brain, like a sci-fi TTRPG. And they could still make Laser Brain, but we have new campaign frames and new adventures and new source books coming out for Daggerheart. It's such a great sign for the longevity of this game. Daggerheart is here to stay. And then next up, they also talks about partnering with a bunch of other actual play shows. Dungeons and Daddies being one of the 3. The other one being Legends of Avantus. Now, both actual play shows have a huge following, and this is such a great idea. I've also seen a bunch of other actual play shows like High Rollers and Arcane Arcade playing the game, as well as recently on social media, just a ton of creators coming out saying I'm in a game or I'm running a game, and Downton Press encourages it all. They want it to be everywhere, and it feels like it is going to be everywhere. Now, the third actual play show they're partnering with is, of course, Critical Role themselves, with what I think is actually one of the biggest pieces of news in here. It kind of flew under the radar compared to the other stuff here, but there is going to be an Age of Umbra Season 2, or another actual play show set in that world. This means that Age of Umbra was super successful, because I thought it was just going to be a one and done show. But I mean, look, the first episode got 1.4 million views. I don't actually know what the last episode got. 101,000 views 2 days ago. It's doing really well. Now, the reason why I think this is bigger news than it seems isn't just because, yay, we get another season, but also we've kind of been unsure what Critical Role are going to do for the future. Them choosing to play more Daggerheart is going to do wonders for the game. If they choose to go back to playing D&D, that's going to do wonders for D&D. And we've had people on both sides who have said, like, they made the game, of course they're going to play it. And we've had other people being like, oh, they'll play it a little bit and they'll also play D&D and they'll keep their fingers in all the pies. That's the smart thing to do. And the biggest announcement is when they actually tell us if they're playing Daggerheart for Campaign 4, their next big multi-year campaign. But so far, we've not heard anything from them about D&D, but we've been hearing a lot about Daggerheart, which, I don't know, maybe I'm just optimistic here. I'm hoping they switch to it full-time. Let me know in the comments what you think. Oh, also free online right now at the Daggerheart website, you can get the Age of Umbra adversaries created by Matt. And there's a fair few of them in here, and some of them are super interesting. And I just can't believe how much they're giving us for free in general. It's crazy. We are well fed. And in fact, before we move back to the more news from GenCon, I do want to talk quickly about what I was gonna make the original video about, which was the transformations. These are in beta. They're just playtesting them right now, but you can get them for free. And I think they're awesome. It shows how modular this game really is. And with just one card, I can say like, oh, player, you got bit by a vampire. Here's a vampire card. You're now a vampire. Or a werewolf. You're now a werewolf. Oh, you died, but you want to keep playing your character? Okay, you're a ghost now. Here's a ghost card. Each one of these transformation cards has one positive and one negative thing about it. They're not like overpowered. And if you have cures for all these things, potentially, it could be really fun to let your players run around as vampires for a few sessions or as reanimated zombies. But yeah, they released this the other day. I thought it was big news. It got overshadowed. What else overshadowed it, I hear you say? Well, Daggerheart class packs. That's what. I'm not insanely excited about this because I have all the cards that are available right now, but I have no doubt this Kickstarter will get funded by a lot and you will end up being able to buy these in the shop at some point, but they are characters in a pack. The reason why they're making these, the main reason, is that because Daggerheart is sold out everywhere and they don't have the ability to make enough box sets to meet the demand. This means you can kind of learn how to play online or buy a digital copy of the book, and then the players can buy these cards separately. Or, you know, it would be kind of cool to have extra cards, just in case. But for me, this is also a sign of how they might release new classes or content in the future. Rather than releasing them in books, they release them in card packs, which is just a very interesting way of doing things, whether it's good or bad for like me psychologically. I'm going to be more likely to buy packs of cards because I'm a collector. So they've kind of got me hook, line and sinker. But it's very cool. And it also is just a sign that they're willing to create extra accessories and extra things to go out there. Still no sign of a buyable GM screen or fear tracker or range ruler and stuff like that. But I think that's going to come. Daggerheart's still very new. It's only been out a few months. And from the way Darrington Press are reacting to all this, I really believe that they never expected it to be this successful. They just didn't. So they're kind of, in a nice way of putting it, scrambling to keep up. And I think once they get to the point where they are making everyone happy and everyone has a copy or can get a copy, then we're going to start seeing the other accessories and stuff coming out. But speaking of accessories, Darrington Press are partnering with Misty Mountain Gaming, Botch, and Dispel Dice. All dice companies that are going to be making official Daggerheart dice. Mostly just really cool D12s, and I'm so excited to like get my hands on, like the dice goblin inside me just wants these. I mean, just look at how cool these look. I keep going into my local game store looking for cool accessories, and I feel like they're gonna be there soon because there aren't any right now. And in fact, what's funny is at my local game store, they have like baskets full of dice. They've got like a D20 basket, a D12 basket, a D6 basket. I was literally in there yesterday and all the baskets were full except the D12 ones. So it's a good job we have companies now making official D12s because we were dangerously close to a shortage there. They're also partnering with Hero Forge, which is, once again, huge news. We're going to get Simia, Ribbit, and Fungril customizability on minis that you can just order. And what really got me excited about this is that you can also make dice on Hero Forge, so maybe we'll get some cool D12s. But also it brings me one step closer to my dream of having custom printed cards. That is such a great avenue for something like Hero Forge to go down. Let me make my own cards with my own shiny outside foil, let me make them holographic, and let me customize them any way I want, then they print it and ship it out to me? Yes, please. That's just a wish list, that's not happening. Just me hoping. Daggerheart is also partnering with Fantasy Grounds and Alchemy, which are VTTs. It just means you'll be able to play Daggerheart in more places, which is obviously a very good thing. There's also a homebrew kit that you can get from Daggerheart.com right now for free, where you can pretty much learn to make your own homebrew. You can make it exactly the way they make it in the books, which is really good, not just for people who actually want to sell their own Daggerheart content and they want to do it like in a way that's as close to official as possible, but it's great for people who just want to homebrew content for their like tables. I know there's some people out there who just really want to do things by the book and have it as like efficient and official looking as possible. This will tell you exactly how to do it, and I really respect them putting it up here. Like, this is not something that they had to do, but they obviously really want people making content and getting content out there. Probably because they know that it will be a lot healthier for the community, and the more people who have access to cool content, the more people playing it, and the more successful Daggerheart will be in the long run. There's also a Daggerheart theme tune, which is really interesting. You're going to be able to play this Daggerheart music royalty-free in your actual plays at your home games. I've got to fully look into it. I wonder if I can play it in my videos. I think this is a brilliant idea. I've always said it about D&D. The D&D should release a soundtrack that anyone can play on their actual plays, that I can play in my D&D videos. Soundtracks are iconic, and imagine if there was like a Roll for Combat soundtrack, and anybody could have it, and it was good, so that whether it's an actual play or a home game, everyone would just like have that music in their mind whenever they roll for combat or roll for initiative. Music is a great way to like consolidate branding. Is that the right term? All I know is that the Pokemon battle theme tune is still running around my head whenever I see like some kind of battle happen. And I played Pokemon 20 years ago. Royalty-free official music, that's good, is just a flat-out brilliant idea. And now if Darrington Press sent me one of those candles, I would be able to know what Daggerheart both smells like and sounds like. Can't wait to see what they do for taste. They're also going to be releasing an art book and a making of book. One book. But it's going to be great for people who are fans of the game and want to know how it was made. But also, I bet it's going to be a great coffee table book with just amazing art to flick through. On the news section of the Daggerheart website, you can see all this new stuff in more detail, like more information about the With Love and Magic campaign frame, which is the romantasy one, information about the books, Hero Forge and Dice, as well as a new Daggerheart world by the creators of Eberron and more. Daggerheart has an insane team behind them and are in good graces with the community and like content creators. I don't know, I'm just so excited to see what happens next here. There was also a recent announcement that Bonus Action is partnering with Darrington Press. That is not me, by the way. That's these guys. I've seen them before. They're actually really good. It's unfortunate that we share the same name. I'm sure it's caused confusion for them. There's also another Bonus Action on Patreon who is neither of us, who creates really good homebrew content. I know it's confusing and I apologize for it. I need to change my name. So whatever the top comment is on this video, I will maybe change my name to that if I like it. But throw your name ideas at me. So far I'm thinking something like Reaction Roll or Duality Dude. No, I don't like that. We are the Duality Dude. No. Now, I'm not expecting this video to do very well, in all honesty, because Todd Kenreck already made a video on this, and he did it talking to the actual creators of the game, including Mathew Mercer, about all these new updates that are coming out. Todd is a fantastic creator and a fantastic interviewer, and the reality is he knows people who work on this game well. He's worked with them before, and he has a lot of experience doing this kind of stuff, so make sure to check him out and subscribe over there. He is very good at what he does. As for my channel, despite me maybe renaming, if you like Daggerheart content, please let me know. Please like the video, and if you can, support me either on Patreon or as a channel member, because views haven't been too high on Daggerheart content, even though I really like making it. I'm in the midst of trying to figure out how much D&D content I want to make, how much Daggerheart content I want to make, how much like system agnostic content, which I would love to do more of, but it's kind of hard to do in any in-depth way. But yeah, every new Patreon member I get at any tier, I will make one new Daggerheart video. But yeah, thank you for watching, and what a time to be a TTRPG fan.